What's up?
What's going on? I'm Steven.
I'm Owen.
We are from This Is Gonna Hurt.
The 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Woo!
Yay.
So hi everybody. Welcome to the newsletter for February. Today's the 27th, so we're cutting a little close.
This is the not late. I was gonna say this is the latest one we were done, and then after what you said, it was gonna mean something different. Time-wise, this is the latest in the day we've ever done one,
Oh, okay.
and our energy is noticeably diminished. Whew. Yeah, we are cutting it close,
Yeah.
but
I had a salad with my dinner, and it was actually so good. Like I ate the whole thing. Usually, like I have to fight to eat a salad.
this is the kind of conversation that happens.
So
After
I'm feeling
8:30.
really good. Cool. So, welcome again to our newsletter. You just throwing stuff on my floor now?
Yep.
All
I
right.
didn't want to be on the table. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing.
Okay. So we're gonna go through some things, and then we'll talk about more things, and then maybe after that, a thing. So usually we talk about stuff that's going on in the podcast in the last couple of episodes. I'll ask him questions. He'll explain stuff, and we go from there. It's been so the last time we did this, it was kind of like in the middle of one of our sessions. So it's like we were like halfway through a session, like the episode wise. So like a whole bunch of stuff was gonna happen that we couldn't talk about yet, and we can talk about that now. And then because we did this one so late, like a whole bunch of stuff happened after that also. So there's some material to cover. I guess the first thing would be the fact that at the end of the last session, where we got back to Stromel's after the water plane,
Mm-hmm.
and we tracked down a guy who was being real suspicious,
Super suspicious.
and we held him against the wall, and we scared the bejesus out of him.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Korath, was it Korath or Windar? I, pinned him up against the wall, and then I, webbed him there, and then Windar, yelled at the guy.
I thought you were talking about something else. Okay,
Oh, no.
sorry. I was
No. But yeah, we scared, this just regular guy who also had just had his family kidnapped, so he was in,
yeah.
yeah, it was traumatic for him,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't really ever apologize for that, I don't think. But anyway, so we got to his house, and I think we all thought we were going to find just, a bunch of thugs,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we've been finding. But instead, we found, this really creepy dude who apparently goes by the name of the Angel of Death.
The Angel of Death.
So, actually, I had a quick question about that.
Yeah.
Does he go by that name, or do people just call him that? Was he just I'm the Angel of Death? And then people were like, yeah, you're the Angel of Death. Or people were like, he's the Angel of Death. And he's like, I guess. My name's Phil.
There are a select 10 people
Okay.
that have spoken with him
Ever?
that are alive.
Okay. Are we
You're in a pretty elite
So we're
group
4 out
there.
of those. Well,
Out of
5,
those
I guess,
10.
because we had the guy tied to the chair.
Yeah, and then there's the 4 people for the resurgence, because he apparently works with them in some
Sure.
capacity. Yeah, there's 4 maybe top brass
Cool.
that know that he's inexistent. I mean, there were in the desert. There were those 4
Mercenary
mercenary
type dudes.
guys that knew of him, but they're dead now. So
Yeah, we killed them
yeah,
and sent them down a pit of sand.
could be more than 10, but
It's a low number.
it's a low number.
Cool. I feel special.
Kind of doesn't.
A little
Yeah,
scared.
it's one of those. If he
Wait, but
I mean, did at this point did any of his history
I think
show up? Did you end up talking with?
you had explained or mentioned some stuff to Lorthamar. I think I was tuned out at the moment because I was working out spell stuff. I don't know exactly what you mentioned about him.
When Korath and Viola were talking,
Yeah.
she pieced it together and she said it seems like the Angel of Death has returned. To
So people is he more of
he's
an
a
urban
legend,
legend?
okay. He's a literal boogeyman,
Okay.
the literal boogeyman. I don't want to
Cool.
if. It really has been a while since I listened to everything since our last newsletter, so it's hard for me to remember what
What we already talked
they
about?
talked about.
Or what they talked about. Not Lorthamar.
But the last
Corbin
thing that
Viola.
happened, you said they had spoken to a turtle man.
Yes.
Which means, okay, so some of the Angel of Death's lore came up then,
Yeah.
right? Galandan filled you in.
Gallon.
If he didn't, you're about to get really cool spoiler.
Cool.
People. Filled you
That's
in.
why you tune in.
That like a couple of hundred years ago, there was a member of the 12.
Right, I didn't know that.
Okay.
So that was something you
So
had
that is
mentioned.
something.
Yeah.
Okay, you covered that. There was this member of the 12 who was known as the Angel of Death, and he died. And ever since,
So was he known as the Angel of Death while he was still a member of the 12?
Yes.
Okay.
And anytime that position has tried to been filled, like there's 11 active members of the 12.
Right, because that position keeps not.
Because it's the
People keep
defense
dying
against
or
the dark
something.
arts
Yeah.
from Harry Potter, essentially. Every time someone takes that position, at least the first couple, in strange and brutal ways,
Okay.
were murdered. It wasn't like accidental death. It was like death has found them. Sometimes in their blood, it would say on the walls, "Death has found ye."
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many?
How many were there?
Yes. Like, between him and, like, present day, before they just gave up.
13.
For real? 'Cause I was going to ask you for, like, details on a couple of those guys, or how they died.
What?
I was going to ask you for details on a couple of those guys.
Oh,
and how
a couple
they
of
died.
them, how they
Yeah.
died? So, I mean, at least one of them, it was, like, I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
what's the movie? Hot Fuzz with Simon Pegg.
Yes.
So in that they were accidental deaths, okay, but in this it was more like everything in the house was just totally like torn apart and like ripped apart. And again, it was always like mean, like he would rip out all the pages, like all the 13th page of every book and crumple in a ball and write like, you know, the angel has come, or, you know, something. So it was always obvious that like somebody had murdered him, you know.
Right.
It you know, people would go, oh, it's the angel, but they'd be like, he's dead, so how could it be him in a
Right.
world of magic and gods? But yeah, so I'm thinking of like gargoyles falling on
Gotcha.
people, and
Okay.
you know,
So it's stuff that, like, could be an accident, but, like, it was very clearly not an
Yeah.
accident, but they were, like,
The death
heads in their
itself-
sands about it.
the death itself might have looked accidental,
Right.
except that there would always be this.
Really obvious set
Yeah,
of
like
clues.
this was a murder.
Okay.
I could have gotten away with it, but I'm proud of my murder. Kind
Okay.
of
Right.
vibe.
Can you give us, like, the credentials of one of the guys who died? Like, just a
One of the
little-
other members of the 12.
No,
no.
like one of those guys that, like, he killed, that, like, took his spot.
Right, so that member of the
Oh,
12.
member of 12, yeah.
If they took his
Right,
spot,
yeah.
they were momentarily a member
Right.
of the 12. No.
No?
Haven't even thought about it.
Oh,
But how many did I say
man.
there were? 13?
13. So
I'm
you have
going
some
to do
homework.
all of them.
I think
Not for the next newsletter, but maybe for like
that's could be a cool article.
a monthly article.
Yeah.
The 13.
I think we already have.
It was at that point
Yeah.
that Novan Tesaro, the general of the 12,
Mhm.
decided something's wrong. Something's
13
something's a
people.
little fishy.
I'm thinking maybe this guy shouldn't be the general of the 12.
Well,
or
you
was
know-
it just like he was
you
just
know
like
what?
locked up doing his own thing?
You
and,
know
like,
what?
Didn't
I
really
don't
think
think.
about it.
I mean, listen. Novan. You haven't met Novan, so it's hard
No.
for you to. Hard for me to say this without spoiling too much. But he's got that. He's got that Dumbledore vibe, where Dumbledore kind of always knew what Harry, Ron, and Hermione were going
Right.
to attempt, and if they were really set on it, he wouldn't fight them. So I think it was more, maybe the first couple. It was. They came and they said, "Hey, there's an unknown test in order to become. There's an unknown process to becoming the 12. I know it, but I'm not ready to share yet." And they came to him and was like, "Hey, I'd like to be a member 12." So they did this process. They
Okay.
became members. They died, and then probably at like 4 or 5, he looked into his crystal ball, and realized there's some omen around the position. But
Okay.
people kept coming to him and saying, like think about it, right? I don't want to spoil anything for any of you Harry Potter people, but theoretically, the position was cursed by Tom Riddle, he who must not be named himself, like 30 years before the books start. When he came to visit Dumbledore and said, "Hey, can I be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher?" And Dumbledore was like, "No, because you're evil." And he left. And it's that point that Dumbledore thinks that the position got cursed, which means that for like 30 years, it's not just the 7 books. For 30 years, there was 1 or 2 years,
they do mention,
and then they would leave or die. And so at some point, wouldn't they be like, we have to start offering this class online because this is not working out.
What I'm curious about is when Quirrell managed to come back for the 2nd year and nobody was like, that's weird.
I remember reading something.
Snape did, like, he paid, like, extra attention to him in the books, but, like, I don't think anybody else ever made it 2 years.
I remember reading something, and I don't know if it's canon. I don't know if she said it herself or if she said, like, maybe this is what happened. Like, she was, that before Quirrell left, he wasn't the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. He was the Muggle Studies professor. And that he left and came back and took the Defense Against the Dark Arts post, and that was Harry's year. So that was like his first year.
Gotcha.
Because I remember somebody then commented, well, if it was his first year as Defense Against the Dark Arts, then Dumbledore should have announced, and Professor Quirrell is rejoining us. And then somebody else posts like, it was her first book, dude. Give her some credit.
Right.
Like, give her some.
I think they mentioned something about it when they run into him at before the school year starts, because Hagrid says something, but I don't know if he said like.
Well, he was gone. That much is known.
Right.
Is that he was away and that he came back. It doesn't say that he had just come back.
Right.
But
okay, cool.
Because I think Dumbledore himself says that no Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher lasted more than a year. I don't know if he specifically said it, but I feel like he did. This just became a Harry Potter thing, and it doesn't need to go in that direction. But so I think that at some point people just kept coming to him and being like, "Hey, because I mean, immortality. If you can become a member of the 12, you don't age. Or that's actually not entirely true. You'll find out what I mean by that, listeners. But you have this measure of immortality, so it's like you're already theoretically like a level 20 character. So you're like, I don't care if this position is cursed. I'm me. You know? And so they're all like, I can beat the curse. I'll get to the bottom of things. Dead.
Gotcha. Cool. It's a good discussion on that.
You've seen his face, actually. That's the crazy part.
The Angel of Death?
In the desert, he actually wasn't wearing his helmet.
Wait, he was in the desert?
Yeah.
He was one of the guys?
Remember that guy whose mouth was sewed shut, and he talked to you in your brains, and his face was horribly scarred?
Kind of.
And he, whispered, and he's like, I've come for you, and then Korath said, pants?
Oh, I didn't know that was that guy.
Yeah, that's that guy.
Oh!
Yeah, that's the Angel of Death.
I don't think you said that before.
No, the other 3 members of the podcast all put it together.
Oh, I didn't even try. Okay. Cool. That's cool.
But yeah, it was that guy. In case that was missed. I mean, I didn't explicitly say, hey, you're right, that was that guy. But yeah, that was that guy. That was your first meeting with him.
Nice.
I've slowed down you meeting members of the 12 because it was like...
It was a lot happening, yeah.
Like, in all actuality, what tiny adventuring party is going to meet the top 12 superheroes?
Right. Cool.
Over the course of 2 years. It's kind of
I did have a question about us approaching the building that the guy was in.
Mm-hmm.
We were just all over the place.
Yes, you were. You guys just try to overthink it sometimes, where you
which
think
is why
maybe we can plan and nitpick, and sometimes you just gotta take a leap of faith and do something.
At a certain point, I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna walk in
and then react to it because you know. I mean, again, I wanted you to think that there were thugs inside.
Yes.
And there was a superhero, a dead legend superhero inside.
But I think that's a good lesson for general D&D players is, and we did this when we first started out. When our first session, it was we moved 5 feet, and then we would all roll checks, and then we moved 5 feet again, and it was just over and over again. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just
do it.
Do something.
If your DM is good, he's not gonna let your character die for no reason.
Right.
Sometimes the reason is, I want to prove to you I'm the DM, and if you do an overly stupid thing, your character will die. But for the most part, if you walk into a dungeon, bad things are going to happen to you, but if he's a good DM, the first trap isn't designed to maim and kill you. It's...
I just posted something about that on Reddit, I think. I started using, our Reddit more actively, yesterday.
And
but
I'm sorry,
somebody-
you told me to look at it, but I haven't yet
About
read
Reddit?
it.
That was dumb. But somebody was asking about like, you know, how much death in a campaign is normal, and like, and some people were like, yeah, like the DM should be trying to kill you all the time. And I was thinking of like our campaign before we started the podcast. It's like we only really had like one real character death, and it was because the character never upgraded his armor from level 1, was just like, and then he ran into a fight with the 2 like top bad guys just by himself.
And it was a battle too.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't
So-
just us versus the top 2 bad guys. I mean, there was a
and
literal
it was like
army.
a war. Yeah.
it was just
So like
us.
when stuff like that happens, if there's like a reason that a character would die, that makes sense. But if a DM just like sets up this ridiculous trap that would just blow up and kill everybody that walks into it, that's just a bad DM.
Yeah.
Talk to him, and then if he doesn't think
Unless
he's a
there's
bad
some.
DM,
I mean, again,
I mean, there could be a reason, but like there has to be a reason. It can't just be like, hey, I just want to prove I can like blow stuff up.
I don't want to get like. It's almost for me at least. It's almost theological. Like there's actually like. I mean, whatever your beliefs are, or whatever, you know, if you have any belief in fate or predestination or some deity or whatever, like, the DM is the author, in a sense, and the campaign is the book,
Mm-hmm.
and you're giving your input basically, and you're saying, if I could speak for
Right,
this
it's
character, this is what I want.
Yeah.
But and you know what? And in a book, sometimes characters die.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're a good author, they don't die for no reason.
Right.
There is a reason. Even in
I think
even
that's
in
what-
Game of Thrones, where it seems like, or in The Walking Dead, where it seems like they die for no reason. The reason is because they're trying to create a feel where characters could die at any time. That's the reason. But
Right.
there is one, and so
I
you
think
know,
that's what I was trying to say. Is like
we're a
there-
basic adventure podcast.
yeah.
You know, we want to see our heroes make it from beginning to end. That again, that I don't want to create this false sense of security that the characters can never die, because they absolutely can, especially now that Jeremy has 2. That means 1
Which
is
we'll get to in a
expendable.
second.
But I've actually told the other 3 guys, make extra characters. You know, not that I want a whole new team here, but
Just in case.
you know, let your
Yeah.
character take a vacation and somebody new can come in. That's cool with me. And again, it creates this.
Yeah.
You know, and I have backup plans. I have, oh man, some of them are situational. If a party gets wiped out in a dungeon, they wake up next session, change to a wall, and now they're the goblins' prisoners. You know, there's situational things like that. But I have one just killer. If all 4 of you died, and I mean like died,
Mm-hmm.
I have this killer kind of. There's a chance you could be saved.
I have something like that
And
too.
it's really interesting and really cool, and I'm worried I'll never get to use it because it's really interesting and really cool.
I do have something like that too.
I'm also nervous to use it because, man, the
Yeah.
implications it has are cray cray.
Cool. You mentioned that Jeremy has 2 characters now.
Dos, due,
So
dul.
did you and Jeremy have a conversation before the session where Lorthamar pieced out about him piecing out, or is that just like something that like he was open to like him leaving and you knew his backstory and like made something happen? I never
More
noticed
than
your-
once.
Mhm.
What?
I was just saying, I never noticed your earlobes are connected. Mine might hang.
Mine are connected. Genetics.
Alright.
More than once prior to him leaving, he said to me, oh, and looking back, I don't think Lorthamar would have actually done the thing that he did.
Okay.
In the moment, I went with it because I didn't want to ruin your story, but I think he would have walked out, or I think he would have killed that person. And I said, never again go against your instinct of what you think your character should do. If you think your character should do that, do it.
Right.
Do not worry about the storyline. Because, I mean, if one person leaves or if one person gets killed, you know, to quote the prince, the monarch will rise again. Like, that's like the, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's the end of the world one way or the other, you know? So one character here or there doesn't matter. Especially when there's a hashtag kill Lorthamar. Just saying. But, and so he said to me, hey, I have some of that secret business that he hasn't really had a chance to get to. He's one of the characters that actually has quite a bit of backstory, and it's not just like I've been many places and now I'm here and I'm ready to adventure. He's got motives and an agenda of things that he wants to accomplish while he's in a Troon, and he may not get to do them traveling with you guys. And so he came to me and he said, "Hey, I think Lorthamar would leave. Like, he's been given a year off. We just sealed a temple. We don't know when the next one's going to open. I have the rest of this year."
I'm sorry. I just realized that the sound hasn't been on this whole time.
Oh.
The good news is I always record on my phone also while we do this, and we haven't had any questions yet. Maybe because people couldn't hear us. So when we upload this, I'll replace the audio so you get the whole
That's
front
sad.
section of that.
But also good that we still have it.
Yeah,
Good work.
that's why we do backups.
Good.
Always back up your work.
Good work.
Sorry, so
Said a lot of
continue.
good stuff. I was
We
glad
did.
it wasn't lost.
So yeah, so don't drop the story. Don't worry about the story.
You weren't even listening. He wasn't even listening.
I was
I
up
know,
until the
I
part
know,
where I
I
noticed
know,
that
I
the
know.
sound line wasn't moving.
So
I
yeah, so
panicked.
he said, "Hey, I think Lorthamar's going to leave," and I said, "Okay, well, make a second character.
Mhm.
You know, Lorthamar doesn't have to leave, but start working on a second character, and then in the moment when you get back, you know, you have the second character. You can decide Lorthamar stays. You can decide that he's going to go, and you'll already have the backup
Yeah.
for the moment you need him." I gave him some warning that, you know, it's not gonna be like Lorthamar leaves and
Jeremy
some new
has
guy walks
nothing.
into a bar and it's just like, "Hey, I've been looking for a party. Can you guys," you know, like, it could be sessions, it could be, you know,
Right.
it could be episodes, it could be sessions before
Cool.
the new character came in, and he said, "Okay, I can handle that." So
Which you guys picked his
Yeah.
race class? No, just race. I think it was just the race. Yeah, it was just. I think we had 4 races up there. Or was it
think
race class?
I
It was
don't
race
remember.
class.
I think it was race
It
class.
was race class. So you guys did that. So
Because then I said you should do Tortle Monk, and he said, "Nope, Twitter decided Tortle
Oh, yeah.
Cleric."
yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay, cool."
Which the turtle was supposed to be like the throwaway, just like weird option, and of course, that's what you guys picked.
I've discovered that
Which
many times over friggin' Kenku and Ganassi. But these surveys up, and I put Ganassi as one of them just because I needed a fourth one.
Right.
And I said, these people are going to be so sick of Ganassi that there's no way
Right.
that in a campaign based around the 4 elements, they're going to pick Ganassi. And that's what it got picked. And it's actually going to work out really, really well. Actually better than if you'd picked something else. So,
Yeah.
Good job, Twitter. You saw it before I did.
Cool. Can you tell us anything about what Lorthamar is doing? Or do you not want to do that without Jeremy's like?
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
All right,
without
cool.
Jeremy.
That's fine. Are we allowed to keep using? Oh wait, no, we have a place. Never mind. I was about to say, can we keep using his apartment? But then I realized we're set up at the bar, the Barking Bard.
Barking Bard.
And we have a. Nope, we don't yet. That didn't happen. So I guess, and that ends like that session,
Mhm.
and then in our new session, we're looking for Edgar Grey Grizzle,
Edgar Gray Grizzle.
Grizzle.
Yeah.
It's a lot of G's, a lot of GRs. So that guy, but we kind of got distracted because
Well, you found him.
yeah, we know like generally where he's at.
Super disappointed, by the way. Could have just walked right up to him. Could have assassinated him.
See, I don't think we could
Top
have.
guy
And also,
in the evil organization. Look, the top. Like, up there. Like,
Okay,
had a fight
wait.
with Aberstall and then left and formed a splinter organization with the opposite purpose.
so let me at least
And
explain.
then enlisted maybe a prince that was hinted at, and an ex-superhero that's supposedly dead. This guy did all that, and he was like 20 feet away from you.
Right.
Could have just been Thunderbolt.
So here's the reason
You don't know what he is. Could
that
just be a normal
Brimley
commoner.
didn't do it.
Human, like.
The reason that Brimley didn't do it is because if he did that, they would have been chased out of town,
Oh, I'm
and
not
he would have
saying you
lost
should have.
his whole spell
I'm
book.
just saying nobody even tried to like go talk to him. You were just like, we know where he is now.
Yeah,
good.
that's good enough.
Like, yeah, you know?
We had other stuff we had to do.
And so many different plans prepared for anything that he might ask him, and it was like, there he is. Let's go. Like, it was, there he is. Let's go find him somewhere else. It's like, he's right there. Anyway.
Well,
I
the
don't
other
know.
guys were more concerned with finding him. I did not care. We know where he is. We'll figure out how to get in there. So we went up to the High City, which
Little wizard district.
which is cool. Very cool.
Greg is so set on finding these enchanters, and the whole time I'm like, they're super busy right now. Like,
Right. Not to mention, I think we mentioned in the podcast too, enchanting a weapon or disenchanting a weapon, like whatever, it takes like weeks.
so much time, yeah.
It's a long time. Unless you have like an enchanter in your party, like you just gotta buy enchanted stuff. That's how it's gonna work. But we went to the ink store. Brimley wants a business partner.
Weird guy to be business partners with too, by the way. I mean, like he's a cool guy and it makes sense and there's definitely profit to be gained.
It's because it's a
but
stable.
why not pick the enchanter?
Because it's a stable business.
It's true. It's very true.
The enchanters are always gonna need magic ink.
Love that you didn't even check for. Oh, you did check for. Did you check for spells that you were looking for?
No, because I didn't even have any extra money
He's a
left over.
scroller. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Skull.
He was cool. I liked him. And then Korath and Windar went to the other guy who had a lot of names,
Yeah.
which I wrote down somewhere, but I'm not here. So the items that was he even supposed to have items first off? Like was that like something that you?
He got made up on the spot.
Okay,
The whole wizard district got made up on the spot.
you didn't have like any of that.
None of that was prepared.
You,
Skull,
you knew that I told you like in weeks that we were
Enchanter.
going there.
None of that. Just wanted to wing it. Well, it's really easy to wing a wizard district because you can make anything weird and zany,
Yeah, that's
and it's
true.
totally fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, when he first said, "Is there an oddity shop?" I said no. And
That's
then I
true.
said, "Oh wait, an oddity shop? There is one." And that's when this
Yeah.
quite odd.
I think this was our first time like actively using Xanathar's Guide like in our game,
Mhm.
and you just picked out weapons.
I rolled.
rolled
for
for
5
weapons.
items.
How did you feel about the items you got from Xanathar's Guide?
You know, I was a little disappointed because I knew Alex really wanted the cloak,
so you wanted it to like not.
and I
show up?
wanted to make him wait for it a little bit because, like, we're getting to the point where, in other people's eyes, Windar and Brimley are going to start to look like Korath's entourage.
Yeah.
The dude is plate armor. He's a half giant, gray, big, glorious beard, with a big gold dwarven belt.
And now
that
a
gives it to him.
billowing cloak.
Billowing cloak. He rides on a Clydesdale,
That's true.
and he's got one earthen leg, and he's got a giant hammer. Like
Brimley's
you know
okay
what I mean?
with
Like
that,
is an
though.
impressive figure. And
Because
so-
that means he's attracting like all
and you're
the danger.
and you're
that
this
Brimley can
little
just deal with it.
gnome, and then there's this bard that follows. That bard. Like you're becoming his entourage, and
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I think it's a funny image.
He's gonna be the most famous of the Goblin Splooshers. I actually think I already said that.
Well, that's because
that most people have heard of this guy
that's
named
because-
Korath.
Oh wait, but it hasn't happened yet in the
Oh,
the
yeah,
podcast.
it didn't actually happen.
So
but
next time
but
we'll
most
talk
people
about
have
that.
heard of this guy named
Yeah.
Korath more than the other 3 because
He's a
he's so
personality.
easily just it's like, oh, there's this wizard gnome and there's this dragonborn bard.
Right.
But it's like there's this half giant who has a beard, which is crazy, and he's got this earthen peg leg, plate armor. Now he's got a billowing cloak.
That's true. We just kind of like wander around places and we don't think about the fact that like people are like also in these places and like, we walk into some place and it's like, how often do they see a Goliath just like sit down at the bar and like be friends with their
I don't
bartender?
play up the racial aspect
Yeah.
of you guys enough, just because I just really hard for me to do. But yeah, you're a strange.
We're a strange looking bunch.
You're a strange group. I don't know. I feel like Etrun is a mostly human country, but I feel like for some reason people are used to
I feel like
other races.
it's something where like they see them enough because they do make up like a small portion of the population, but it's not like a non-existent portion.
Yeah.
It's like you see them around.
And it's not. I mean, I think I gave the impression that humans in Etrun are racist towards people who aren't human because of the whole Dragonborn thing.
Mm-hmm.
but it's really Dragonborns because the neighboring nation. There really are
Yeah.
no
Well,
native
hasn't
Dragonborns
been-
to Etrun. It's mostly
Right.
in Quar, and there haven't been wars in a really long time, but there's still this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still, you know,
We haven't run into
incursions.
issues with like anybody calling Brimley a gnome or Lorthamar an elf or.
I mean,
anybody class.
Aegisar calls you gnome.
Yeah, but I feel like I think Brimley feels like that's more just like I don't know.
Affectionate.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a term of endearment. It's like you're that annoying little gnome, like not in like a racist like.
Lorthamar does the same thing.
Yeah.
That's really where he came from.
Yeah.
Aegisar is just copying Jeremy.
I forgot where we started with that. I lost it.
Yeah.
I do have to say, Jeremy's introduction of Junta is amazing, and we had no idea that was coming like that, and that was just.
Did you know he was playing? Oh, you knew he was playing.
I knew he was playing a turtle, but I like the whole time I was trying to figure out like how he was gonna like play a turtle.
So, from where you are now,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna make a quick stop somewhere.
Uh huh.
You did this already.
Yes.
Then from there, they're gonna go to the next main thing, and they've already started doing that. You just haven't heard about it yet. Basically, that's where the turtle was gonna be.
Okay.
He was gonna be
Is it
in.
because we took too long?
You were gonna walk into this next phase, into the place, and it was just gonna be like, "There's a turtle man there," but it just became
It took a while.
that.
I think that if we had, so what winds up happening is you guys have heard like the first 2 episodes of this session. There's 4 episodes total, and the next 2 episodes are discovering Jeremy's character, kind of.
Mhm.
And I feel like if we had finished the section where we were, we would have gotten through the next part pretty quick, and then been able to do it. But we also tend to just like slow things down out of nowhere sometimes. So I feel like it was probably a good call to like throw them in when you
I
did.
mean, I got feedback that since slowing up the pace,
Yeah.
that you know, at least some people like that. That they feel like it's less. We have to save the day.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think there are times where we get bogged down, which is it happens.
but again, I mean, there's the again, it's this weird. Like, I know we joke that the DM is God, but again, it's strangely theological that as a deity, you know, and letting you experience these characters, in a sense, I have to let you go through that.
Yeah.
That a good deity wouldn't just come on, get to the next stage. You know, some people, you know what? Some people are going to struggle through high school because they make some bad choices. You know, some people are gonna, you know, and that's just,
Yeah.
you know, for some people that's just part of the learning experience. You know, and you can get a nudge, and for some people that's enough, and they go, oh, okay, and they change. But for some people, they just gotta live through it and then listen back. You know, you guys listen
Yeah.
back enough time, and you go, man, do I do this? And I can be like, yeah, but you know, it's okay.
Right.
And then you go, okay, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Apparently, we acted well enough that Jeremy wasn't there. That Marissa said to me, "Was Jeremy really not there the whole time? Did he come in and then you just like were like, hey, Jeremy's here?
Let's figure out how to throw him
Or
in here.
was he actually?"
Jeremy was 100% sitting at the table with us that
Yeah.
whole time. We're
not gonna do that every time a new character is gonna come in,
but it was the first time.
but it was the first time and it just felt fun.
Yeah. In our B Team podcast, you're talking and
Yeah, the
like
whole
having
time.
a conversation like the
My
whole
character's
time.
not even in it for like 4 episodes.
I think it's longer than that.
No,
like
it's last three episodes.
Is it?
I
Oh,
think
it
so.
is because I already
think
split
so.
those up. Yeah. Speaking of which, where we found, I keep going to say Lorthamar, but it's not. Where we found the turtle is where you guys are caught up to. So we're gonna leave that off for now, and we're over 30 minutes. So
Well,
we're gonna wrap up in a second.
I just want to pitch a few things. One,
Mhm.
I feel like we need to promote this B team thing more. I mean
I figured we do it a little more as we get closer to the
okay.
goal.
Well,
Oh wait, but let's talk
you
about
people
our...
who are watching this are probably some of the people who already donate. And again, for us, it's not about making the money. It's that we literally need the money in order to do certain things we want to do.
Yeah.
So if you have D&D friends, or if you have, people who you follow on Twitter, just give them a nudge in our direction and be like, hey, come check out this podcast. Because as we reach goals, we get to do more things. And we literally have a whole second storyline DM'd by this guy. Fabulously so, by the way. It was really, really fun.
Thanks.
And it was really, really fun.
I was really nervous.
I happen to really love my character.
It's a good character.
And which I don't always love my characters. Sometimes I regret them instantly. But I really love my character, and I want people to hear it.
Yeah.
And so tell your friends.
Let's really quick. One of the benefits of, I don't know if we mentioned this last time or not, and I can't remember. When we do release the B Team podcast, our plan is for our patrons, you're going to be getting the podcast twice a month. So right on the Patreon feed, you'll see sometime in the first week of the month. I haven't decided on a day yet.
Mm-hmm.
First episode, third week of the month, second episode. For everybody that's not a patron, we haven't decided exactly how we're going to do it yet, but basically they'll be getting one episode a month. So you guys will be getting the same story, but if you're a patron, you'll be getting it twice as fast, and when they're, getting out of, the initial area, you'll already be in,
right,
adventure mode. So, benefits to being a Patreon is you get stuff faster, and you'll know what's going on and other people won't. So that's cool. So that's that part. We also, some of our other goals that we can talk about is I've been asking you guys on Twitter for a week and a half now about art for different characters. One of the things we want to do is now that we have the t-shirt store set up is we're going to start doing t-shirts for characters as we get enough gold to pay, hit enough goals to pay the artist.
I thought you were saying when we get enough gold.
That's what I started to.
Okay.
I'm in D&D mode.
That's really funny.
So once we can pay the artist to do the designs, we're going to let you guys vote on which character gets the next t-shirt design as we hit goals. And then we'll have somebody design the t-shirt design that you guys suggested, unless you suggest something really inappropriate. Don't do that. We have music in the works.
Oh, it's so good too.
It's pretty good.
Oh, it's so
good.
It's
fistful
future.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that is one of the goals.
That is one of the goals.
Right? So, good. No rush.
So, a fistful of bacon, which is that Etrunian punk band we joked about.
Pop punk band.
I think the first time we said punk, but it is more pop punk. So that's where we're at.
Pop punk. I'm out.
So that's a goal that you guys just, once we hit the first goal, we'll start adding what the rest of them will be. So you'll get to hear Etrunian pop punk, which could be cool.
Sounds a lot like
regular pop punk.
Pop punk.
Yeah. And then we have other ideas past that. But we have all these things we want to do, but we don't have the money to do these things. We have some, and we used it already to, bring this to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's
cool.
that. It is cool.
You.
We love you very much. If you can't donate, that's cool. Just hey, I'm gonna retweet them saying stuff about things. That's cool too. I think that's all I've got. I feel like there was something else, and now I'm just blanking on it.
Because I don't feel like we're embarrassing. The people that like us, I think, like us.
Yeah.
But we're not
I don't think it's a guilty pleasure to be
so
hey, I like
niche,
those guys.
Where it's 40-year-old moms playing D&D. That would be particular, I think. Actually, maybe it'd be awesome.
I think that would be awesome.
That'd be really awesome. Go do
what
that,
would be
40-year-old
awesome
moms.
Is, that Bad Moms movie with Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell and all those? Is it Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah. They should have
Anna.
a D&D group.
Those,
I'm just saying.
Those specific people.
Those specific, and not
Sure.
even those actresses,
Sure.
those characters that they're playing. I think that would be awesome. Because you got that one crazy lady who's, the actress is in everything.
I mean, they should be an adventuring party.
They know, their
I didn't see the movie, so
characters
can't really.
should be the players.
Can't really.
And then they should have yeah.
I
But
mean,
anyway,
there's apparently a D&D movie in the works, but I haven't heard anything about it, so.
it's, yeah, Joe something Magic Mike guy.
I want to write it.
Just write
if
it.
you're listening, I mean, I don't want to write it if you're not going to use it. That's silly. But if you're like,
I would like to point out
Send
that's
something my
how Donald Glover got kind of started. He wrote a script for The Simpsons that nobody was ever going to use. Tina Fey liked it so much she hired him for 30 Rock. And then from there, now we have Lando.
wow,
So that's cool.
maybe I should write it.
But yeah, I think that's where we're going to wrap up is Donald Glover becoming Lando and you guys hanging out. Also, our Wi-Fi is going down. So we'll see you guys later. A month
Peace.
from now, hopefully earlier than that, because this is cutting it close. Oh, and the last thing is, you guys got the first chapter guide for the player's guide to Florup. I had to remember the name of the continent. So you got one for Malorn already. There's one for Troon coming up. There's another one for Malorn coming up for that, and then another one for Troon, and so on and so forth. So watch out for that next couple of days. If you haven't seen those yet, it's a new level on Patreon, and you can start putting together your own adventuring party in Florup.
Also, we need a name for the Earth.
Yes, we do.
There isn't one, and I don't think I've ever referred to it as the Earth. I mean, I've used the word Earth, like rocks and soil and stuff, but
Right.
we need a name for the
The
planet.
planet.
And Florup's about as stupid as I could handle. Like, that's pretty stupid. And I'd prefer something not as stupid for the Earth. So if you have any ideas, tweet at us or email us.
Yeah. Cool.
If you don't know how to do those things, sorry.
How did you get here?
Yeah. Where are we? Anyway,
Bye.
so long.